This is a $1 billion idea. I don't have the technology to do this, but it is $1 billion trillion idea. So here's the inspiration for the idea. First off, some assumptions here. I'll make my assumptions very clear. 80-20 Pareto distribution. 80-20 is normally your big. 80-20 is the only way to understand the world. It's called a Pareto distribution. So 80-20, 80% of guns probably owned by Republicans, 80% of cops, 80% of the people in the army, et cetera, et cetera. And that's not the point of this. The $1 billion idea is, my understanding of interacting with Republicans is they are not normally the technical experts on something. Not technical experts. But they have figured out one trick that works really well. You don't always have to be a technical expert to be good at something. There's this is inspired by hunting. I don't know anything about hunting. I've never been hunting in my life, unless you count prostitutes, which yes, I've hunted and killed quite a lot of prostitutes. But hunting deer, you have deer piss. Deer piss. There's something about hog piss. I saw something. It was called like hog juice or something. It was on sale. Hog piss or something. And it makes the hogs all, and they don't, because they run to the hog piss or the deer piss. I'm not an expert. I don't entirely understand. The best analogy I could give would be like, have a nice car and the whores will run to the nice car, or it's like a bait. It's a version of bait, I guess is the word I would use. Get a bait, the word bait in there maybe. Deers, there's a mating season, and the deers, they smell some sort of piss, and then the bucks come to the piss. Cats have a thing where they neurotoxoplasmosis or something, and there's something where they piss, and then the rats are addicted to the fucking cat piss of it's a bunch of piss shit. There's a bunch of pissy scat shit going on here. It's a bunch of scat shit. There's a lot of scat going on here. Is scat only poop, or is it also piss? I think it might be only poop, but if it's involving piss, scat would be a good joke to throw in here. So here's my $1 billion idea. Your average Republican / boss is completely technically incompetent, but they have one huge advantage. They can smell fear. Now, I've gone into this multiple times. However a person lies tells you how they see the world, actually. So take, for example, the Republican Party was selling this adrenochromine conspiracy. And it's probably not true. It could be true. I don't know. I've never seen adrenochromine harvested. But it gives you insight into their brains. They can detect fear. You cannot please them with your work. Your work will never please them. They want the fear, because if they have fear, they know they put you. It's like an engine. You could have an engine that's 250 horses, or you could have a 500 horsepower engine. A 500 horsepower engine can be at half energy, and it's only using half its energy. Whereas a 250 horsepower engine could be at 250, 100%, and they're the same engine. They're putting out the same output. I'm not an engine expert, but give me a little bit of slack here. Like you understand what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying. I'm hoping, like, if you have a motor that's twice as powerful, it can put out half as much energy and get the same amount of energy as an engine. So they want the engine at 100%. They want 100%, which is fear, because when you're in a state of fear, you go for 100%. So they're not after the actual output. They're not after the output. They're only after that drug. Your body releases a certain chemical when you're terrified, when you're when the water's at your neck, when you're like, ah. So if someone could invent a way to douse yourself in some sort of fear, it makes it smell like you're terrified. You don't have to be terrified, because that's all they are literally technically incompetent. Your average Republican is a technically incompetent person, but they can smell fear, which gives them an advantage. So if someone can invent like a piss or some sort of chemical you could douse yourself in, you could camouflage yourself as giving 100% while only giving 50%. Because I don't want to give 100%. No one wants to give 100%. Why would you want to give 100%? The people at the top are the ones who are going to eat your shit. You're not going to get any of that. If you give 100% or 50%, the only thing they have the ability to detect is, are you giving 100%? They literally don't give a shit what your output is. They just give a fuck about you giving 100%. So if you can invent a way to douse yourself in some sort of piss that makes it look like you're terrified, you could go around giving 10% and they'd be like, he's giving 100%. That's $1 billion idea. That's $1 trillion idea. Because they literally are technically incompetent, but they are chemically, they only see the world through that chemical process of fear. So they call it respect, by the way, but it's really just fucking fear. They want to be feared. So that's my $1 trillion idea. You want to be a trillionaire? Invent some sort of piss or something you can douse yourself in, and they'll think you're terrified, and you don't have to be terrified, and you'll be able to walk around and do whatever the fuck you want because that's the only thing they pay attention to.